Action Force is bringing the fight to cancer. In honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Valaverse has enlisted the Steel Brigade to lead this fight. This new female Steel Brigade action figure, clad in pink with the iconic breast cancer ribbon adorned on her vest, is available on Valaverse.com now. Valaverse has teamed up with the Gloria Gemma Breast Cancer Resource Foundation in Rhode Island for this special item. Proceeds from the Steel Brigade action figure will be shared with the Gloria Gemma Foundation. Every Steel Brigade you purchase will help with this great cause. You too can join the Action Force for this fight. Go get your Steel Brigade trooper now and help bring the fight to cancer. It's time for action.
Shut up and sit down.
Welcome, everybody, to the 3POA podcast, episode 78. I'm your host, LaserPants, also known as Ryan. I am joined, as always, by the man behind Action Force, the CEO of Valaverse, one, Bobby Vala.
What's up, guys?
How you doing?
It is Saturday, and we got 3POA, baby.
That's right. You got a drink? I got a drink.
I got some vitamin water. It's been a long day fulfilling an unbelievable amount of Series 5 orders, so I'm kind of tired and drained. I need a little pick-me-up, so I got the vitamin water.
Series 5 going out?
Oh, yeah. We got...
since Wednesday?
Since Wednesday, yeah. People already got some in hand. Some people reviews have gone up. Yeah, we got a lot out the door. I think by tomorrow, we'll be more than halfway through all the orders, and then everything should be out the door by Wednesday.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I got my shipping notice.
Okay.
My estimated delivery date is 10/31, Halloween.
Ooh, look at that.
Which is also the day I leave for Rhode Island Comic Con.
You're leaving that day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm looking forward to it. Rhode Island Comic Con next weekend.
Yeah. Exciting.
Yeah, man.
Exciting.
You got the exclusives?
Got the exclusive. She's in the house.
Pandora.
Yep, Pandora. So she'll be there. All Series 5 will be there. We got the rest of our Elite Praetorians in. Ooh. So those will be there. Some bone collectors. We have a few left. Vanguards. We'll bring some pink Vanguards with us. We are going to be fully stocked at Rhode Island Comic Con.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned Pandora. Your video today.
Yeah.
With the Pandora cosplayer.
Yes.
It was like she jumped right off the side art of the packaging.
I know.
And she was there in the flesh. What was her name again?
Her name is Jen. She goes by Chenzi, like CHENZ.18 on Instagram. I have her tagged in all our posts with her. She was amazing. And the cool part about it was that, and I think I mentioned in the video, is that, she agreed to do it and her stuff was awesome. So I knew she was going to nail the costume, but she never sent us any pictures like leading up to it. She just said, I'm working on it, blah, blah, blah. So when I saw her at the show, like that was my genuine reaction because I'd never seen her before. So that was really cool. It was a little nerve-wracking, but it was so cool to see her show up. And it was like, now I've seen There was a guy that cosplayed as Bone Collector years ago when Series 1 came out. There was a little girl that cosplayed as Pandora, but like seeing like her, like Pandora, is my favorite. And like she nailed it. And like to see her the way she looked was so like surreal to me. And like I couldn't like stop staring at her. She's beautiful, but like seeing my character like in the flesh like that, I was like, whoa. And I was like, is this what it's gonna be like on the movie set? Like this is gonna be really cool. But yeah, I was blown away. She was great.
Yeah, the slow motion scene that Matt filmed with her walking down the hallway looking like a badass. It was just really cool seeing it come to life like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone watching this for some reason isn't subscribed to Valaverse's YouTube, go do that after this show. Check it out. It's awesome. All right. Before we get into our topic, and this is topic adjacent, I got in Giant Man, my Haslab Giant Man.
Ooh.
I just posted about it on Instagram. Apparently, so that this Giant Man figure has swappable eyes, right? So you have different faces, right? You got like this goofy smiling one, which I don't like. You have a stoic one, and then you have angry, I'm going to hurt you one, right?
Got it.
Like, watch out, Janet. I'm coming for you.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. And it's supposed to have 3 sets of eyes, and I do have 3 sets of eyes, right? It's supposed to have like looking straight forward eyes, looking to the left eyes, and then looking down eyes. As far as I've seen, myself included, everyone is getting 2 sets of looking left eyes and 1 set of looking down eyes. So no one has Giant Man looking straight on like we're supposed to. It's a big flub, and I'm really wondering how Hasbro is going to handle this, because when they've had QC issues before with Haslab, like with the Sentinel, it was radio silence. It was nothing. It sucks. I'm not too happy.
Listen, you saw what we did with Atlas with the hips. It's like,
right.
You gotta fix the issues, man. You gotta fix the issues, whether it's right off the bat or after. You have got to fix the issues. We fixed every issue. Scarabs, ankles on some of the females. Like, you gotta also, it's like, and I know people are gonna get like mad at Hasbro, like Hasbro, but you gotta remember, like, this is the factory. Like, you gotta remember, Hasbro's a corporation. The factories that they have, sometimes they own them, sometimes they don't. Not a lot of toy companies own their own factories. I don't believe Hasbro owns their factories. So they're hiring basically a third party to make sure that this item gets out the door. Now, Hasbro they're not there watching this production process every single day. You have to trust the people you hire to do it and the company you hire to do it. So, and there's day shifts, there's night shifts, there's hundreds of people working on these at any one time, people working on one part of it, this part of it, that part of it, that part of it. When I was at the factory, there was, I think, 30 different stations working on different aspects of the Vanguard. So, it could just be, and it's like, you guys have to remember, like, these are people in China. They don't necessarily care about toys. This is their job. And maybe they just got a bin with eyes, and here you go, put them in the thing. So say a guy or a girl is sitting there, and their job is just to put the eyes in the tray, If they're given the wrong bin from the guy who's responsible for putting the bin there, and it's like, that's the tough part, is that this stuff does, like, it happens. I mean,
right.
It is super unfortunate. And it's like, yes, a lot of it does fall on, the company. Some stuff falls on the factory, and it's like, it definitely sucks. But it's like, and no, Titan, I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending Hasbro. I just like,
oh no, mark it on the calendar, everyone. Bobby is defending Hasbro.
Yeah, I know people are gonna get like, oh, Hasbro, you suck. Like, and don't get me wrong, guys, I fucking hate Hasbro. You guys know that. And we're gonna get into like more of that. I'm gonna shit on them a lot tonight. But it's like, if Hasbro, what I would blame Hasbro for is if they do nothing about this.
Exactly,
Now-
and that's what I'm
now
waiting for.
That
I'm
and
waiting
that's
for
the
the
thing. It's like, now it's like the thing with the Atlas hips. I don't want to say like point. Oh, look at the way I do it. It's not like about that. I'm just kind of pointing to an example that's fresh in my mind. Like there was a guy that was bitching about the hips that he has to like. Oh, it would have been better if you just caught this the first time. It's like the question is, what if I just never said anything? Would you have noticed? I noticed because I care about that. And I was honest and open, like, nope, this is not right. This is not the way our product should be. But if I didn't do it, anyone would notice? No one would notice. Michael French says toy collectors don't have the greatest attention to detail. But, and I said, I'm sorry, maybe we should do it the way other companies do it and just not acknowledge things. Maybe we should do it that way. I think when we acknowledge stuff, then it's like nobody's happy. And I've always said that about toy collectors, man. You cannot please everybody. And no matter what you do, there's always going to be someone that doesn't like the way you do something.
Yeah.
But it's like,
It's true.
You just got to address this stuff. Now, what bothered me about the Sentinel was they didn't address the knees. And then Dwight, like a dickhead, like made a condescending joke about the knees, like when he was showing Galactus, like, oh, Ratchet, look at the Ratchet. Like, dude, you had thousands of people pay hundreds of dollars for an item that was not up to par. And then you're going to joke about it. Like, really, these are the people you want trusting you and stuff like that. So again, it's like, I'm not sticking up not trying to make excuses for Hasbro or defend them or anything like that. It's just like, some things aren't their fault. Some things they can control, some things they can't. But what they can 100% control is how they address this. And that will be the big issue.
Already got people chiming in. Like Jeremy Kimberlin says, I've seen several people say they will receive replacement eyes in November.
Okay.
Serenity Games, Hasbro may have already laid off the QC team.
Maybe.
And then Starscream. Is that Starscream from Boston? They're shipping out the new eyes in the coming months from the email screenshots I've seen. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. Hey,
I'm still going to have to I called them today. I called Hasbro today, and
okay,
it's
they actually have a phone number you can call.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I have it saved in my phone.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they're not. I mean, it's the weekend, so they didn't answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just called them because they triple charged me for that new MCU Colossus.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got the refund though. So
okay.
Anyway, now another thing, and this is not on the factory. These hands. Okay, look at I got hands. These are just like, these are not ABS like the Sentinel, right? That articulated nice and smooth. Mm-hmm. These are PVC like an action, like a Marvel Legend arm.
Yep.
And each one is like a hand with a hinge and a peg that goes into the other section of finger. They are very soft. And the hinge is very, very stiff. And as I try to articulate these, the stress on all these little pegs is showing. It's blue, right? It starts to show white.
Yeah.
From the plastic stress. That's a big flaw. I'm like terrified to bend these fingers.
Yeah, so the joint material is called POM.
Palm. Yeah.
The actual finger itself is PVC. When that is too soft compared to the POM, instead of the PVC turning, it stays in one position and flexes, and that's what causes a stress, and that's no good because then that softness is pulling, and then it's putting stress on the pin here.
Right.
Whereas if that was a harder material, it would eventually move and just kind of break the plane, and it won't stick and pull on the POM. So yeah, that's
right.
Those are definitely comments you make, when you get samples and stuff like that. Like, oh, you got to increase the zerometer on the PVC on the fingers,
Right. Yeah. Omega Weapon 13. I am going to do that before I mess with it. It was just worth noting, like they got it right on the Sentinel. That was smooth. You have a Sentinel, Bobby, so you know how those hands move.
But again, it's a $200 item, right? It was $200.
Right. $200.
$200 item.
Yep. All right. Let's get into some super chats, and then we can get into our main topic, which is the end of Marvel Legends. Is it coming? Maybe the whole Disney license? Things are happening at Hasbro right now, and yeah, we're going to talk about it. So, super chats, Brian Dillingham, thank you so much, man. He says, on the road, but Bobby, thanks for making the pink Steel Brigade. I'm sending one to my cousin. She is in the middle of chemo to lift her spirits.
Hope she's doing all right.
Yeah. Definitely hope your cousins
Those pink Steel Brigades, man, they are flying out of here. We are 3/4 of the way through our entire stock, so only a quarter of our production run left, which is nuts. In a couple of weeks, she sold that much, which is it's awesome that seeing people like get behind this, this thing we're doing, charity thing. It's great. It's a great cause.
Yep. So get them now.
Mm-hmm.
3/4 of the way through it.
Yep.
Big time nerd with the tater chat. Thank you, sir. He says, "Sup, guys? Just want to say, what's high from the great? Say what's up, high from the Great White North. Been looking forward to this one all week. Awesome. Thanks, big time nerd. Up in Canada. And then Not Top Goon. Thank you very much. Getting Away 5 Tuesday. Y'all want to know some good company practice? Vala grouped my separate orders together and got a shipping refund. Thanks, Bobby."
Damn it, Goon. Don't say things like that, because then people are going to think that that's okay to do. No, listen, if we can't do it all the time. So just because we did it for one or two people doesn't mean we can do that all the time. It's like you place the orders. Like, I don't want to get 100 emails now saying, "Hey, can you combine my order? My order hasn't shipped yet." Like, we are not combining orders right now. There's no way we are doing that. So
can you combine my order?
We are not combining orders. We have multiple people going through hundreds of orders at any one time. We can't take the time because we have different stations fulfilling orders. So it's like if your order's in a basket over here, and a basket over here, and a basket over here, we got to stop what we're doing. We got to flip through thousands of orders to go and like do that. And it's like, we're not doing it. Please don't send the email. We cannot combine any orders at this point.
Way to go, Goon. You just caused real problems. Real quick, Figure Fight Club wants to know if you're going to have any. Are you saving some pink Steel Brigades for Legions Con?
Yes.
Okay.
I will. I have all my stuff pulled aside for both Rhode Island Comic Con and Legions Con, and I will have it all there.
All right, cool. There you go. And all right, cool. Thank you, guys. Okay, now on to our topic. Hasbro doesn't seem to be doing very well right now, Bobby. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's not a toy industry thing, because you don't see other companies laying off over 100 people and having bad earnings reports and this and that. So it's a Hasbro issue, and it's been a Hasbro issue.
Consumer products are down 10%. Now, Wizards of the Coast, apparently that's like where they're doing good right now.
Yeah, they make a lot of money on Wizards of the Coast.
I still down 5%, and then we see entertainment here down 86%. We know they sold.
Well, yeah,
their what was it called? Studio
E1.
E1.
Mm-hmm.
E1.
But yeah, but look at what percentage they're see that top bar. Look, that little tiny sliver is entertainment. So it's like, 75% of it is consumer products.
Yeah. And by the way, thanks to Suka for sending this chart over to me. Sales are down in North America by 8%.
But yeah, look, they're down. Go back up to the top. Yeah, look, revenue, 1.2 billion, down 15%. Now, guys, listen, and I'm not, of course, I know the Hasbro apologists, the G.I. Joe fans, you're all going to sit here and be like, Bobby doesn't know what he's talking about. He just hates Hasbro, this and that. My hatred for Hasbro has nothing to do with numbers. Numbers don't lie. So just stop with your feelings and just pay attention to like facts and numbers here, because this shit doesn't lie. Like, look, down 15%. Now you'll see all these reports come out and say, oh, we're not as down as the market thought we were going to be. Okay, so if you're down a shit ton, but you're down less than a fuck ton, you're still down a shit ton. Like, down 15% is really, really bad. Really bad. Like their last earnings report, I think they were down 17%, and the markets thought they were going to be down 21%. So it was like, look at this win. We weren't as down as much as we thought. How do you think, like, they have to spin that stuff that way? They have to make it seem like, oh, it's great. We're really happy with where we're. No, don't. No. Down 15% is terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
This is only through the third quarter.
Yes, exactly.
It'll be interesting to see how they do in fourth quarter, which is usually their biggest, right? Because of the holidays.
Yep. And they have been down every single quarter since the beginning of the year. Now, every single quarter.
I want to be clear. People are going to say, "Oh, you're just bashing Hasbro." No. Yeah. These are numbers. These are facts.
Exactly.
We're not celebrating this. In fact, Bobby, you're invested in Hasbro.
100%. I'm invested.
Yeah.
100%.
So this is hurting your bottom line.
Yeah. My stock's down.
Yeah. We're not celebrating this. This is not like yay.
Yep.
But yeah. So this was interesting. Europe is down 22%. North America 8%. Latin America 21%, but Asia is up 33%. Did they just break into that to like new markets there or something? Or
that's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know if maybe they're rejiggering some of their distribution, that they're making things more available. If maybe they're unloading some stock in Asia. I know they're sitting on a lot of stock, so you never know.
All right, the pie chart here: partner brands down 17%. So that would be like your Star Wars, your
Marvel.
Yep.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. They don't have Fortnite anymore, but
nope. Did they lose Fortnite? Yeah, they lost Fortnite.
Well, they're not making it anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's right.
Now, franchise brands, is that G.I. Joe and Transformers?
So here's
Monopoly?
the thing. So they have franchise brands and portfolio brands. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they're calculated. Now, this is where they do shady stuff. This is where there's this and this, and we're going to put this here. But yeah, franchise brands are technically G.I. Joe, Transformers, Pet Shop, Play-Doh, their games. That's but I don't know. Portfolio brands might be games there. I don't know for sure.
I am continually surprised.
But again, all red, all down. It's all down.
Yeah. I'm continually surprised how well Monopoly does for them. Like, who still plays Monopoly?
Exactly. Also, it's just like if you have Monopoly, like we have Monopoly at our house, I don't think you need 7 versions of Monopoly. Like if you have Monopoly, you have it. Like,
yeah.
How often are you really going out to buy a new Monopoly?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
But when they say gaming, I think that's a lot. Wizards of the Coast, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
And and board games, because I think they have Scrabble. They have some big games, but and there's always a new version of Scrabble and Monopoly and their other big games. 49er Brian says, "I play Monopoly with my nieces, hater." Settle down, Brian.
No, there's nothing wrong with playing it. I'm just saying, I'm not.
Or no,
you said who plays Monopoly. That's right.
Well, I'm just surprised, how how well it does for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
So this is Chris Cox's quote here. Outperformance within our gaming and licensing businesses in the third quarter highlights the strength in 2 of our highest profit areas. Our key initiatives around digital licensing and reinvigorating our product innovation are bearing fruit. Because they're not down as far.
I mean, I don't think I've talked to one person that actually has anything positive to say about Chris Cox. And I'm talking about people at the company. I'm talking about people that have worked with him. I'm talking about people from other companies. Like literally nobody has anything good to say about this guy.
Yeah. And I don't personally, I don't like his face. He's hard to, I'm not saying I'm good looking, but he's hard to look at. I don't like it. It's a personal opinion. The Titan wants to know if his middle name is Limp. All right. Now, of course, it's right before the holidays, so we got to do some layoffs, right?
Of course. Now, what's interesting about this is normally layoffs come after an earnings report. This is the first time they did layoffs before an earning report, to my knowledge. Now that says a lot, because it's just like the earnings were so bad that they needed to be able to have something to say during their call. Like, well, we just saved $7 million in salary going into the fourth quarter. So we can offset that fourth quarter by $7 million.
Right.
Guys, see how corporations work? Not just me being a hater to Hasbro. This is like economic shit, man. Like, this is where you have to like open your eyes, because when I talk about your beloved brand that I'm going to get to, you're going to need to take a look in the mirror and be like, you know what? I don't like Bobby, but you know what? What he's saying is factual stuff, because I talk to people. I know the industry. Like, you guys are sitting on a couch buying stuff. You're not privy to the stuff that's actually going on inside.
Yeah. Now this graph, once again, thank you to Suka for sending this my way. This is a graph of number of employees over the years. As you can see, at the end of the year, there's a lot of downturn here, right? But then there's this massive balloon in 2020, the pandemic.
Yep.
Now, I was going to the store still during the pandemic buying toys, and it got pretty wild.
Yeah.
Like Classified hit. Remember the whole Classified at Target debacle?
Yep.
Collectors fighting. The trading card industry blew up, you know, whether it was sports or Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, which they own.
Yeah.
Collecting boomed, and they ballooned. They went from, you know, under 6,000 to, what was it, over 8,000 employees? 7,000 employees.
7, yeah.
Every year since, they've been dropping.
Yep.
And it's always right before the holidays. Just like you said. You pad those numbers at the end of the year.
The layoff they did last year, I think, was in December, like a week or two before Christmas. And they do this thing that it's called like Global Day of Joy. It's like a mandatory kind of thing. They make you wear this shirt and stuff, and they make you do like these volunteering things. Well, they had everyone do the Global Day of Joy, and then like a day or two later, they did layoffs. So it's like, we had a bunch of people do this free volunteering stuff and got all this good PR. Oh, and then we just laid them off right before Christmas. Like, guys, listen, you get mad at me. You get mad at me for hating on Hasbro. It's like, look at the way people are treated. If you're mad at me because of my opinion on a toy that you like, but then are okay and think that that's more important than like hundreds of people being laid off and like losing a job, like, you have a problem and you are the problem. So, you know, it's all about your feelings, though.
You see it on the shelves at Ross and Ollie's and Marshall's. I mean, just the glut of product clogging the shelves there. I mean, complete mismanagement of those brands. They way overproduced those few years, you know, 2020, 2021, really, and 2022. That stuff, those Eternals, and it's not like it's just the fact that they overproduced, but no one really wanted that stuff. The MCU became crap, and I get it. Action figures are a small part of their business, but it's not like they didn't overproduce their board games.
Yeah.
Those are all sitting at Ollie's too. We don't tend to notice them, but I mean, now at this point. Over here on the right, this is 2024. They are now below 2009 numbers as far as number of employees. And it looks like it's going to continue to shrink. In fact, it looks like are they slimming down in order to be more attractive for a buyout? No.
Okay. They are. I believe this has to do with that move to Boston next year. They said that now when I was there, I forget what year it was, they were talking about moving to Boston. And I remember a survey went out.
1 second. K-Mac, are you serious? Is
let's
is that what this is to you, or are you being sarcastic? And
let's get a confirmation first before we gang up on him. Hopefully he's honest and we can gang
I
up.
mean, if he's just teasing, I get it. But if he's being serious, it's like, are you not understanding what we're talking about here? This isn't bashing. Anyway, go ahead.
So they put out a survey on if people would go to Boston, and I said no, and I know like 80% of the people there said no, because you got to remember, like, when people that live in Rhode Island now, even I got this way when I moved to Rhode Island. It's like you never want to go far places because I think everyone's used to like things being close, so you never want to like travel in Rhode Island. So it's like the idea of like going to, I was like, no, I'm not going to drive, you know, it's an hour without traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always traffic going to Boston. I'm like, I'm not driving to Boston. And a lot of people are like, no, I live in Rhode Island. Plus it's like, if you live in Rhode Island and then you work in another state, your taxes are a mess, like an absolute mess. So this whole idea of going to Boston, I know that like they're looking at Boston. This is probably another dumb Chris Cox move, but it's like Lego has a big place in Boston now. So it's like, there's all this allure of Boston, and it's like, how about just stay like where you are? But you know, you get a bunch of tax breaks. I'm sure they're talking to Boston about a lot of tax breaks, and you know, but you're going to lose a ton of people, like a ton of people. So it's like, if you're looking for offices in Boston and things like that, and say you have, you know, this is what they're looking at 5,000 people like company wide. It's like, okay, well, if there's say 3,000 people in just that, you know, Rhode Island office. Well, what if you're looking at places that can only house 2,500 people or 2,000 people? So at that point, you're like, well, let's trim some fat. So you trim some fat, and then you're like, okay, well, we'll do this. And then we know that there's going to be a lot of other people that won't go. So, and then it's like, listen, guys, they're not going to move to that Boston office for definitely at least another year. So they said,
he said mid 2026.
Okay, so that means you have, you know, a year and a half. But it's like, okay, well, what if the numbers keep going down? You know, what if there's no end in sight, or, you know? So it's just like, you know, they're smart. Like, companies like this have to look ahead. They gotta do all this. So that Boston move definitely plays into this. So
is that, I mean, what's the benefit of just moving to Boston? It seems like more expense.
Tax breaks, or
okay.
I don't know. I mean, city, like, I don't know. It's stupid. It's stupid. I mean, granted, the town that Hasbro is in is a dump. Pawtucket, Rhode Island is a dump. I'm sure when they first started, it was a great town, but like, that town is just junk. You know, like they used to have the Boston Red Sox minor league baseball team right down the street, this nice stadium. And instead of Rhode Island like doing what they needed to do to keep them there, they ended up moving, and they moved to Massachusetts. So they lost like that revenue, and Pawtucket lost that revenue of having those games and that in their town. So now it's like, okay, well, now you just have Hasbro there. And it's like, okay, well, I tell you right now, there's only a tiny percentage of people that work at Hasbro that actually live in Pawtucket, because Pawtucket is a dump. So people live at other towns, like, you know, so, you know, I get it. You're probably just like, plus the building's old. I mean, I love the building. The building is this old factory. It's got brick and a lot of, you know, exposed like iron beams and stuff. Like, I love that building. But I think nowadays people just want this clean, sterile, like corporate office look. And that's just something that Hasbro never had. To me, it's like, they should have just renovated that building. Like,
dude, that's, you know, the new Valaverse headquarters when they move.
I mean, when they leave, there won't be two toy companies in Rhode Island anymore.
Yeah. Suka wants to know, he says they are moving to Boston, so Chris gets called Chris Cox.
Cox. Yeah, Chris Cox.
Cox. K-Mac wants to know if we have any new pickups. So K-Mac, just so you know, we don't always just talk about toys in our collection on this show. Sometimes we talk about movies. We talk about the toy industry. We talk about stuff
Make me
like,
big.
you know,
Make me big, damn it.
again. Oh, okay.
I picked up this little lady. I've never played this game. I don't know what this game is, but I've been hearing great things about this figure, so I wanted to pick it up and see what it was all about. And she is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know if she's worth $50, but
she's 50.
Well, I bought her on Amazon, and it was through like Spin Master's Pay, and she was $49.99.
Yeah, so I got the Ghost of Tsushima and the God of War figures they did. They are like SH Figure Art scale. They're real. I'll say they're really well done for Spin Master's first venture into 6-inch figures. I think it's their first venture into 6-inch figures. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm pretty happy with my God of War figure, other than the fact that it's SH Figure Art scale. I said it before. Just make him the scale of Marvel Legends.
Yeah, I took her out and I was like, why does she look so tiny? And then I held her next to Pandora and I'm like, whoa, she's really little. Like she's little.
Yeah.
Like she's probably like a 5-inch figure, you know, like
Right.
she's little.
Okay. So these are just the facts, ma'am.
Yep.
To quote
Yep.
Dragnet.
Yep.
What was I going to get to? Oh, real quick, the history. So our friend Ron Rudat commented on this. Now, for those that don't know, Ron Rudat, Bobby, tell everyone who Ron Rudat is.
Ron Rudat's kind of like one of the godfathers of G.I. Joe. He designed like almost all of the first few years of figures. You know, he did a lot like, you know, in the late 80s and stuff too. But, you know, for the first, like, I think 4 years, he designed all the figures. You know, he created a lot of these characters and stuff like that. And, you know, his influence, you know, can be seen on so many of these characters. You know, he did some vehicles too. He also designed the original Cobra logo. So he was an instrumental part in when G.I. Joe launched.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is on a thread, I believe Carson's post about it on Facebook, because Carson posted about this. You know, the newest round of layoffs, which, by the way, they said under 100 in that article,
which is total bullshit.
Yeah,
it was over 100. I think the number was actually closer to 150. But guys, they lie. They lie.
Yeah.
They lie. I know you don't want to hear it. They lie. It was way over 100 people, even though they want to say, it affected less than 100 people. No, it didn't. No, it did not.
Right. And just so people know, you have people on the inside that still work there, right? They give you info. You can't give up who it is, right? So for those listening, grain of salt if you want, but
does the US have spies in every country?
Right.
Yeah.
So Ron Rudat says he's replying to a guy named Rod. He says, I was let go on December 7th, 1999. Okay, one of the godfathers of G.I. Joe was laid off.
Yep.
Just before the holidays. I will always remember the date. Pearl Harbor was bombed on that day. Hasbro has been laying off people since about 1990.
Yep.
Is that about when they went public?
That's a good question. You'd have to kind of dig on that a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I want to say that's when they acquired Tonka and Kenner, right around there. Because Kenner was acquired by Tonka.
Yeah, because when Kenner was doing Power of the Force 2, I'm trying to remember if they were owned by Hasbro yet or not. I can't remember.
Okay.
It all happened around that time, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, so this is basically nothing new for Hasbro. This has kind of been their MO.
Yep.
They lay off before the holidays to pad the numbers. So
got to go into that fourth quarter. You got to have something to tell people. Like, you have to say, you know, you have to have a solve for things. You know, it's like if you can get rid of $7 million worth of salary or several $1 million worth of salary, you know, it's you know, the year I got laid off in October 2018, I believe they laid off over 300 people between Rhode Island, UK, China, you know, over 300 people. Realize how much they saved in salary then? That's because they spent $500 million on Power Rangers and needed to show shareholders like, yeah, but look, we can compensate for that. Like, look, we're spending less on salary here, so it offsets things. It's like, guys, it's all a cat and mouse game.
Suka, thanks. Yeah, Hasbro bought Tonka in '91. So okay.
So they did own Kenner when Power of the Force 2 came out. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. But it was still those figures were still made in Cincinnati.
Yeah, Kenner still operated as Kenner.
Right.
Which is very rare, like, for that to happen. Nowadays, it's like when I was about to get a job at Wicked Cool Toys, I was told that I was going to get an offer letter on a Friday, and then the weekend happened, and it was Toy Fair, and news came out that Jazzwares acquired Wicked Cool Toys, and then they rescinded all offers and things like that. But then I was told that Wicked Cool would be operating on their own and would continue as Wicked Cool. Within 6 months, all the toys had Jazzwares on it. And then Wicked Cool was never mentioned again. So it's, you know, for a company to keep, you know, having a certain company operate is very, very rare.
Yeah. This is from the same article that Suka sent me. Thank you. And I'll try to remember to link it later in the description. I forgot to. But I screenshot this blurb. It says, in this analysis, we delve into Hasbro's Q3 2024 earnings report with a focused look at the Star Wars product line's performance and the broader strategies affecting this iconic franchise. We know what's affecting it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the source material being put out.
Mm-hmm.
No one wants it. Hasbro facing a challenging year. It's funny they picked out Star Wars of all this. Hasbro facing a challenging year reported a revenue decline of 15% in quarter three. Okay, we knew that. Largely impacted by weakened demand for certain products, including Star Wars merchandise. They didn't say Marvel, but I got to assume that Marvel's on a decline too. It continues on with a need to adjust to shifting consumer interest and a changing retail landscape. Now, help me with this one, Bobby. Hasbro has prioritized a streamlined approach, aiming to invest in core franchises. Does that mean what they own?
Yeah.
So Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask.
Yep.
Okay. In core franchises that can capture stronger market share while optimizing operations to manage costs. The second part, to me, means licensing it out, which we've seen now.
100%.
With Mask going to Mask, Gem, and something else going to Loyal Subjects. We see G.I. Joe at Super 7. We see G.I. Joe at Haya. We see G.I. Joe at Mezco. We see Transformers like everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Even Mattel's making Transformer Hot Wheels.
Yep. From what
Jada has made G.I. Joe vehicles.
From what I've been hearing, more is going out the door than coming in.
There you go. Power Rangers going to Playmates.
Yep. Whereas, like, you look at G.I. Joe and it's like Hasbro still doing the core G.I. Joe brand, but licensing out small parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
They just totally turned their back on Power Rangers. They just like, no, you can have the master toy license. We want nothing to do with Power Rangers. They're not doing anything Power Rangers as far as toy product. Playmates has it all. So it's just like, you know, what does that tell you? Guys, it's like if you're going to spend $500 million on something and you're a toy company and then you're not going to make toys, like just think about that for a second. And I want the Valaverse haters to just stop for like, and I want to challenge you on this. I want you to stop and just think about what I just said for a second. You're a toy company that owns an IP. You take that IP and you license it to another toy company to make toys. And you spent $500 million on that IP. Do you think like that is okay, or that's normal? Like, you think it's like smart?
I don't think it's normal, but I think
I'm
it
just
takes.
I'm just putting that out there. Like, put your thinking caps on there, big kids, and let's look at that for a second. You know, it's just like if I were, you know, and I am a shareholder, I'm not a big shareholder, but if I was like on the board, if I was like one of these people that owns so much stock that I was on the board, I would be like, what are you? You're a toy company. Like, what are you doing? Like, you see, you know, when Disney, I don't want to use the W word because I don't want people to get triggered, but there were board members and stockholders that own a lot of stock in Disney that were giving Disney a lot of crap for going in a certain direction. And they were like, you need to stop and focus on creating stories and characters and stop with whatever agenda you're doing, because the goal is to make money. And what you're doing isn't making money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a proven fact what you're doing isn't making money. So how about just go with what you're doing? Like, and you know, it's like you got to listen to someone who owns a ton of your stock. So it's like, if I were a board member, I'd say, you're a toy company. Why are you licensing to another toy company? You're a bigger toy company than that toy company. What is the rationale to give it to Playmates? Are you saying that you're not as good as Playmates? Because that's basically what you're saying. You're saying Playmates is a better toy company because Playmates can take our $500 million brand and do it because we don't know how to do it and we don't know how to make money on it.
Well, I mean, they get the initial
Let's make
payment.
it someone else's problem, and we'll get paid no matter what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's they're not really taking a risk now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Playmates is going to pay for it and then also give a royalty, right?
But it's like, if your Playmates, say Playmates turns the Power Rangers brand around, say their first year they make $300 million, they do $300 million in sales. Hasbro's only going to get a portion of that. Whereas if Hasbro actually put the effort into it and they turned it into a $300 million brand, you'd be getting a bigger part of it.
Yeah.
A way bigger part of it. So, you know, yeah, it's just, guys, this is obvious stuff. This isn't even like Bobby hates Hasbro stuff. This is obvious stuff. Like super obvious.
Now, as far as the licensed products, Star Wars, Marvel, the Disney stuff,
Mm-hmm.
what have you heard from inside that you can share on the show? Let me start.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, there was information coming out. X-Manny got this too, that it was going to be a Fin Fang Foom Haslab for Marvel Legends. Obviously, that didn't happen. There was even a point where it really looked like Dwight was teasing a Fin Fang Foom Haslab, right? In one of their live streams. He said something that, you know, it was like think, thank, thunk or something like that. And they were something around, you know, it kind of seemed like he was saying Fin Fang Foom, but, you know, using different words. There was other info coming out that obviously X-Manny got, that it was going to be a Fin Fang Foom Haslab. All of a sudden, San Diego Comic-Con comes. No Fin Fang Foom. In fact, they said no Haslab this year. But we're going to do this open pre-order for Dragon Man. Which does seem more... It does seem more safe.
Yeah.
Right? It was at an $85 or $80, $85 price point.
Yep.
Open pre-order.
Yep.
For 45 days. People can just go in and pre-order it if they wanted it. No risk of a failed Haslab where they get nothing.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And then, oh God, what else happened? Oh, and then they do it again with the X-Men 97 Sentinel. It seems like, hey, this worked. Let's do it again with this Sentinel. Of course, they must have already been working on it.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, because they had a prototype there at New York Comic-Con. But I mean, that easily could have been a Haslab. Look what they did with Giant Man. That Sentinel is not much smaller than Giant Man.
Yeah.
I think if it was 2023, they would have been like, this is the Haslab. The X-Men
Isn't that-
97 animated Sentinel. Not happening.
Yep.
Why would they cancel a Haslab at the last minute if it's Fin Fang Foom?
If you're Hasbro, so the license, I believe it expires in fall of 2025.
Okay.
So if you're Hasbro and you do a Haslab, and those Haslabs can take a year and a half to do, it's like you're then trying to push an item or putting resources into an item after maybe you don't have the license anymore. Rather, just do stuff now, get it out as quickly as possible, and at least like, all right, it's off our books then. Like, it's again, I'm speculating here. This is something I can't say I have any insider knowledge about, but
Okay.
Stuff's very it's very obvious, very obvious. Now,
I mean, it's just weird that, granted, the Engine of Vengeance failed, but that was 2-3 years ago at this point. But then, Giant Man, it kind of squeaked by. So maybe it's that they're timid to run another Haslab now.
It could be. It could be. It could also be, sometimes directives at Marvel happen. Now, there are some times where they push you to do a certain item because of entertainment that's coming out. My first Comic-Con item was an Ant-Man item because the Ant-Man movie was coming out that year. Now that was years ago. That's a little different, but I'm not saying that this is the plan, but what if like Fin Fang Foom is planned for the Fantastic Four movie and, or some other property. And all of a sudden Marvel's like, oh, you can't touch Fin Fang Foom right now. Like it's kind of off limits because we'd rather wait and do something with this. That's what happened. So I don't remember what happened with Galactus and Sentinel. I want to say Galactus was going to be the first Haslab.
Yeah, you've said that before.
And then they switched to the Sentinel. And then, so it's like things can change like that based on a Marvel directive as well. But, it could be a number of things. But again, it's the fact that they're doing no Haslab is very telling. Now, Star Wars finished theirs, so that item will be out before the license ends. So
again, that one was like really safe. Original trilogy, the Star Wars scale, like 3 3/4 is the Star Wars scale. Super safe. They didn't go with any of the new properties that were out, right? They didn't do. They did the Ghost last time, but they played it really safe this time with the Cantina.
I mean, it's interesting. It's very interesting. But again, okay, we can only speculate. I thought we'd hear some news from New York Toy Fair, but I can tell you right now, we definitely are going to hear news by New York Comic Con. We're going to hear news by Toy Fair about who will get the license, whether Hasbro renews or someone else gets it.
What do you think about McFarlane dipping his toe into Marvel product?
I mean, listen, McFarlane is trying to be a big toy company now. He's doing kid product. He's doing all sorts of different collectibles. He's not just, a figure guy. He's doing more, like way more.
Yeah.
It's like, look at this playset he's doing for, the Lord of the Rings. And it's like, that's a kid line. It's 4-inch kid line. He's trying to be a player. He wants to not be like a NECA. He wants to be like a Spin Master or a Jazzwares. He wants that. So
his
it's
spot
like
on the toy aisle is growing.
It is. And it's like, I was at Target the other day and it's like, he's got the DC area, which is big. It's big. Way bigger than some of the Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. But then I see his Marvel statues, which are in bigger boxes. Like they're fairly large as far as boxes go. And those are in the Marvel section. I'm like, whoa, he is like creeping in here.
No, I don't know about your targets, but my targets, those are actually moving, which surprises me as a toy guy. But those though I don't think those are really for toy guys. Those are for the comic guys.
They are, yeah.
The guys that
yeah.
collect comics and they have shelves of omnibus and
Yep.
and stacks and stacks of long boxes. They like those statues to put, with their books on the shelf.
Yep.
So I think those are that was a good move on his part.
Oh, sure. Plus he looks as like, hey, I could build a relationship with Marvel, and then will allow me to make a play for Marvel. Like, not everyone gets to pitch for it. You have to be kind of almost like invited to the table. So it's like, if he's like, hey guys, like, I've been doing this thing, like we're working together, it gives him an in. Even if he doesn't have the capital to give $300 million up front to get a license, at least he is a player now. And it's like, oh, well, okay, maybe we can trust this guy with more stuff.
Yeah. I mean, he had part of the toy aisle taken over with his Pandora figures. The Avatar.
The Avatar, which I don't think sold well, but but still,
they were there.
He's getting stuff. He's getting licenses. I mean,
Pock Photo says he'll definitely give us Haslab size figures at retail. His big ass Batmobiles are at retail, dude.
Yeah.
Those are on the shelves at Target. The animated Batmobile. They were down to $25.
I saw that.
I left it at $25.
You saw one? No.
Yeah. I went and scanned it. It was like $23.99 or whatever, and I was like, I just don't have room for it. I put it back. But now speaking of Todd, and he has the DC license. He has a Marvel license of some sort now.
Yep.
You got word. I think we mentioned this before, but you got word that Hasbro pitched for the DC license. You said it before. I'm not giving it.
Did I say it?
I'm not giving anything away here.
Oh, I thought we said it in private.
No, you said it on the show.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a fact. I was told it by a third party, I was told it by someone not at Hasbro. So
is this something they just do every year, just because they can do it, or?
I mean, it could be. I mean, you got to cover your bases. It's like if you're Hasbro and you lose the Marvel portfolio or the whole Disney portfolio, you need to pivot and tell your shareholders something positive. It's like sleight of hand, like magicians, like don't look over here while I'm doing something over here.
Right.
If they're like, hey, there's a chance we might not get this back. Okay, well, it's called hedging your bet. Like, might as well go pitch for this. Because say you're like, nah, we're really confident we're going to get Marvel. We're not going to pitch for DC. And then all of a sudden, Marvel's like, yeah, we're going to go with someone else. And then you're like, hey, DC, can we be friends? And they're like, sorry, man, I'm taking this other girl to prom. So it's like, you gotta cover your bases. You need something new to be able to tell the board and the shareholders.
Okay. Do you think they could hold the DC license and the Marvel license at the same time?
No.
Companies have before. Toy Biz had them both at the same time.
That's so long ago. It's a different time now.
It's different world.
I mean, yeah, it's it would affect relationships. It would definitely affect relationships. However, I mean, McFarlane has both, but no one would have it both for the same scale and the same offering. Know. So,
I mean, if they decide not to renew, because I mean, obviously money is tight for Hasbro right now. Mm-hmm. If they decide to renew, do you think it would be chopped up? They get a smaller piece of the pie, and other stuff would go other places.
100%.
Like maybe Titan Heroes go to Jazzwares, or the 4-inch line goes.
When I was there, the action figures it's all kind of lumped together. Like action figures is based on a scale. Like you get the license for this scale from 4 inches to 12 inches. And then it jumps and then you get something bigger and then above kind of thing. But that was when I was there. They've renewed since then. So I don't know how the contract is, but
we've seen other brands get chopped up.
Yes.
Like Fortnite. For instance.
Yep.
You know, 4-inch was at Jazzware, 6-inch
Yep.
went to Hasbro.
Yep.
At one point, McFarlane was making 7-inch Fortnite.
That's right. Yeah.
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 You know, it was all over the place.
Yeah, some handle their licenses a bit differently. Like Fortnite could have just said, "Yeah, we're only going to give you a license for X scale," whereas Marvel's like, "No, you just get all of action figure," kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. All right, let's get into some super chats here, and then we have we want to talk about classified.
Yes.
We're gonna piss everyone off.
I know. I can't wait. They're gonna be so mad.
Robert's Infinite Realms, thanks for the super chat. Bobby gave my mom a pink Steel Brigade. She's a survivor. Thank you.
Awesome.
That's awesome, Robert.
Glad to hear that.
World Made of Cardboard's here. Thank you, John. My wife wants the pink Steel Brigade. I guess I better go order it. She wants to support a great cause. Thank you.
She's going fast.
You know, this is, I mean, it's affected my family. It is right now, but I had no idea like how widespread breast cancer was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because like so many people in the chat that I've known for years at this point, like John, you know, well, not John, but others. And it's like, yeah, they have their own breast cancer story.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. We got Killustrated Figs. Thank you so much. He says, I've seen several people saying that Hasbro should have just thrown in the scroll head to show good faith. I think it was off by like 100 backers. They're 100 backers away from getting the
Wouldn't
scroll
that
head.
have been nice to like,
It would have been, you know, or just extend it 12 hours. They probably would have
like
made it.
if I was there, I'd been, guys, it'd be great PR just to give something like a thank you.
Yeah.
It's not going to cost you really much more. Just, you know.
Do you think they should have, or would this set a bad precedent?
No, they should.
Well,
It can only be positive.
I'd say don't just throw it in, but extend. They did it with Unicron. They extended the campaign by like a few weeks with Unicron. With Giant Man, they needed 100 backers. They could have extended it one day and probably would have got that.
Yeah. Or just listen, the amount of money they make off Haslabs, I would have just been like, hey guys, we're so close because you guys are such great fans and loyal and made this happen. Here's a little something.
The one reason why I say I understand they didn't is because then every Haslab after that, people be like, come on, just throw it in.
I know. Like, oh,
You know?
we did it on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does set a precedence, you know.
Right. Or they could just make them all open pre-orders. Just let us buy it, you know. Are you watching UFC?
No, the Rangers are on. And they
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Philip Story with the $20 super chat. Thank you, Philip.
Whoa, nice.
Oh, you know what that means, Bobby? Do you know what that means?
I know what that means.
Hold on. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready.
I was already ready, man. You made me do this.
Philip Story with a $20 super chat. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Philip Story.
That's why I went with the dollar signs, baby.
Dollar signs, baby. Let me see if I can pull up my dollar signs. Thank you, Philip Story, for the $20 super chat. He says, all right, I just got an awesome Wounded Warehouse order. And Series 5, my first ever pre-order, will be here soon. Vala versus shipping is relatively next to nothing. Awesome video today, Bobby.
Thanks, man.
There it is. I found
Yeah,
it.
we lose a lot of money on shipping, but you know, it's all right.
Thank you for the $20 super chat, Philip Story. It's a party now.
We look like absolute idiots.
It's not because of the glasses.
It's 100% because of the glasses. Yeah, guys, Ryan sent these to my house and was like, I'm sending something to you. You have to open it. You need it for the show. And I'm like, really? For real?
Listen, you need to be a part of the party.
Sometimes you don't have to be at certain parties, man.
A Diddy party? Thanks, Philip. I appreciate that. Blake, they're on Amazon. I'll try to find the link later.
Should you wear these the whole time at Rhode Island Comic Con?
Should I bring them? Oh my God.
We should bring them and take pictures with our 3POA fans.
All right, let's do it.
If you come to the show with a 3POA shirt on, me and Ryan will take a picture with the glasses on.
There we go. Now I got to remember to pack them.
No,
Suka, Suka, thank you for the super chat. He says Hasbro really taking it deep with cocks inside. Thank you, Suka. Mr. Bug is here. Thanks for the super chat, Mr. Bug. He says, I'm still upset Hasbro axed the Power Rangers line after years of mismanaging it. 30 years of material right there, and they fumbled it like Spider-Man's love life. I'm not the biggest Power Rangers fan, right? I pretty much just like Mighty Morphin, the original American show. I never watched the Sentai show. But besides, like, I don't know what was fumbled about. Well, the Zords were bad. They did have a lot of QC issues on that line. Okay, yeah, they fumbled it. I mean, it ended, so. It was fumbled, and we never got Bulk and Skull. Dino Spumoni, thanks for the tater chat. He says, Bobby Vala hurt my feelings.
Get in line, bro.
Yeah. Buy
Get
a mug.
in line.
You can buy a mug.
Wear it like a badge of honor.
There you go.
Because if I hurt your feelings, it means you're soft.
Dino's joking, but
I know he is.
thanks, Dino. John Garrett with the tater chat. Thank you. The 1027 event at Hasbro is just going to be a video of Mr. Stevie going around the Hasbro offices and firing people.
Or he's just going to show empty desks. Be like, oh, this used to be his desk, and he used to be here, and he used to be here, and yeah.
We need Mikey here so he could, do the impression. You're fired.
So Hasbro, they laid some people off.
They laid him off.
They weren't good. They weren't good. They were bad. They were very bad. They're very bad.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Jeremy Kimbler has a great question, and I wanted to touch on this. Bobby, thoughts on John Warden being let go?
I have mixed feelings about it. Listen, when they do layoffs, it is awful for everyone involved. But I will say this. There are people that are let go that don't deserve to be let go. And then there are some people that kind of deserve to be let go. Like, they're not just randomly picking. Like, there are reasons why people were laid off. I know the reason I was laid off. It had nothing to do with performance. I was told this by ex-bosses and stuff like that. So, guys who aren't at Hasbro anymore confirm things. But, there's, you got to trim the fat, man. If you're looking at your company's down and they're like, hey, you got to save $7 million in salary. Okay, I'm looking at several things. Now, Hasbro always looked at certain things. They looked at age. Now, a lot of things they try to skirt around the age discriminatory kind of things. They would offer packages or early retirement packages. When I was there, they offered a shit ton of them. When they were getting ready to do my layoff, they offered a bunch of packages. And I remember Mark Boudreau, amazing Star Wars designer. They'd offer him a package every time the layoffs came around. And every time he would say no. Be like, nope. And he gambled. He would be like, so at the time,
and Boudreau actually made it all the way to his own retirement.
He did. So I'm going to get to that in a second.
Okay. All right.
So, he actually didn't. I'll get to Mark in a second. So they gave you X amount of pay, for the years you're there. So they say to you, hey, you could take this package and get X amount of weeks for every year you were there if you take the package, or you can gamble. And the layoff is giving half that amount. What are you going to do?
Right.
Mark Boudreau gambled every time. Now, I heard what I got was very good in 2018. I'm not going to say what it was, but I got an amazing severance.
$6 million. No, I'm kidding. I made.
Yeah. Now I heard they what's given now is terrible. Like, it's really bad what they give you. I'm like, geez, that would suck if I got that. So, you know, so it's like you got to trim the fat. You got to look at age. You got to look at inflated salaries because there's a boatload of those. You got to look at redundancies. Redundancy is what I'm going to get to with John Warden. You got to look performance, you know, and then you got to look at problems. Who are the boat rockers? I was in that last one. But, you know, with John was a design director. John reported to a design director. Don't you see how that's redundant? They probably look at be like, wait a second. Why do we need 2 design directors? Why does that design director need to report to a design director? That makes 0 sense. So let's just get rid of one of them.
So Hasbro is just too top heavy in that way.
They get very top because it's a bottleneck. You have everyone saying, I want to move up, but then you move up and there's less.
Yeah.
Some people just want to stay doing what they're doing, you know? But you know, with John, I learned a lot from John. Yes, I did get that.
Alex says Bobby got 1,000 boxes of baby oil severance.
I sure did. I learned a lot from John. I liked John at times, not at other times. Sometimes I felt like John was a very cold person. He wasn't as friendly all the time. He seemed kind of grumpy at times. You know, but I feel like some of these guys, you know, the older guys, you get these older guys and you're trying to like, and it's interesting because he made a comment about it in one of his many interviews, which I'm going to get to that in a second, about like, oh, like people won't have this, you know, they're going to miss out on this mentorship from these people that aren't there anymore. It's like, okay, well, he wasn't as easy to get some information from as far as mentorship. I felt like I really had to like push him for stuff, but a lot of those guys were like that. A lot of those old timer guys, they didn't just serve it up. You had to really push them. Like I would ask Mark Boudreau 100 questions all the time. He probably hated it, but I didn't care. I wanted to learn. John was talented at times, you know, but then there are times where like, you know, I remember like he made G.I. Joe great again.
Was that Pursuit of Cobra?
No, 25th anniversary.
25th.
So in 2007, he was one of the people behind 25th anniversary. Then that was super successful right off the bat. Then he goes into Rise of Cobra, which kind of shit the bed. Then he goes into Pursuit of Cobra. So I think John got to see G.I. Joe go up and then down really fast. You know, and when I was there as an intern, he was working on Pursuit of Cobra. We were working on Renegades. And then I think he worked on going into Retaliation also. But then it was like, when I got there, I remember we were at like one of our boss's barbecues or something like that. And I remember like he had just come off of G.I. Joe and he went back to Transformers. Now, John is a Transformers fan. He loves Transformers. And I just remember he was like, he couldn't have been more happy to come off G.I. Joe. Like I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was almost kind of hating on G.I. Joe. Like, because I said to him, I was like, man, I want to revive G.I. Joe. He goes, you don't want that brand. I remember him telling me that because you don't want to work on that brand. He goes, that brand's too complicated. It's a mess. You don't want to work on that brand. I remember thinking like, dude, you were like one of the godfathers of modern day G.I. Joe and you're talking crap about the brand. I remember it like rubbed me the wrong way. I was like,
well, do you think it's because of what he had to deal with?
It could very well have been, but I wasn't saying it as like, I was saying as I love the brand, but he just, when he came off Joe, he never wanted to talk about Joe. He just like, and then you can even see he made this LinkedIn post when he got promoted to design director. The whole like big paragraph where he's raving about Transformers. And then the one little blurb says, and I'll be managing G.I. Joe. Like, really? You raved about Transformers and then Ghostbusters, and then, oh, and I'll be managing G.I. Joe. Like, really? You didn't care? Like,
Is that like his personal fandom type of thing, or did he have a bone to pick with G.I. Joe? Or
I don't know. I mean, then again, it's like he was just kind of like letting Lenny kind of run it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I can't say whether John cared or not. That's on John. But you know, like, so yeah, so it's like I'm mixed. It's just like, yes, he was there 25 years, and people are like, oh my god, he was there 25 years. I can't believe they would lay him off. There's obviously a reason, guys. There's obviously a reason. I pointed to redundancy. When you're there 25 years, your salary goes up, man. You know, so it's like there could be a number of reasons. You know, so I don't know. I mean, what I did find interesting
I want to be clear. You're not saying he deserved it. You're saying Hasbro had like
I'm not
a reason
he
as a corporation.
Yes,
Hasbro
I'm not saying he deserved it because I don't know. I wasn't there. I haven't been there in 5 years, so it's just like I don't know. You know, but they had their reasonings. I can only speculate from the outside. You know, I can give my thoughts on John and what I thought about him, and you know,
it seems pretty cold what they did to him. Like he just celebrated 25 years, and they said thanks, and they booted him out the door.
That doesn't matter.
I know. It's just
listen. I worked on all the product for the last 2 Avengers movies. I was handling like 200 million of the $300 million Marvel portfolio. I just won Toy of the Year. Like that, I think that's more important than someone being there 25 years, like a Toy of the Year. And then I had another item that was nominated again. Like I don't know. I don't know if you can like say one's worth more than the other, but it's just like, yeah, I guess you could say it's cold, but it's cold what they did to me. But it's like, listen, the Layoffs are gonna be cold to whoever thinks it's cold. I sit here, I'm like, I'm 50-50, you know? Yeah. But it's like the thing that I find very interesting is that John was always kind of a quiet guy, and you know, he didn't take me as like I want to be in the spotlight kind of guy. But and when people got laid off at Hasbro, they never did like news interviews or anything like this. John did a news interview that night. And then he just did another news interview like yesterday or today. And he never posts anything on LinkedIn. It's funny because I'm on LinkedIn all the time. And you see people, when they have a job, they're never posting. All of a sudden, they're unemployed. Oh, man, I better get on LinkedIn so that everyone knows I'm here. Hey, I got to the party, guys. What can you do for me? So he made this big, I don't want to say boo-hoo post on Instagram, but he did this thing. He talked about his career and stuff like that. But it's
he was gracious about it.
He was gracious, but it's like, okay, like right away, like I looked at his post. It's not like he posted all that often. It's like, all right, so you do this post. And it's like, oh, they just happened to call me that night. And I gave them this interview. It's like, it seemed a little too convenient. And then the fact that now he has a second interview and now he's on LinkedIn posting all his interviews. And I'm like, ooh, he's kind of doing damage control. Maybe not damage control, but he's trying to like, okay, I'm going to say some really nice things about my time there because you are now a recruit and you're like, I need a job. I want people to see me. I got to put my face out there. It's just very odd because nobody ever did interviews like this. And you get this guy who's now this big story, and it's just like, it's just a little, I don't know. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. It's just, I don't know. It's something. Listen, there's also there's something I can't talk about. Ryan knows, but I can't give my full opinion on some things because there's something else going on that I just can't talk about right now. But you know, I'm mixed. That's why I'm 50-50 on it. I know people are immediately going to say this is terrible. Okay. Yeah. From the outside, I'm sure it looks terrible to Joe fans. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
When can you talk about it?
It's wrapped up, baby.
All right.
Hopefully soon.
Back to the chat. Thanks for that comment, Jeremy. Robert Diaz says another awful reason to lay off workers before the end of the year is 401k match payouts. Yeah. If you get laid off before a certain point, they can save money by not having to pay out the 401k match money. It's true. Omar's just here to drink beer and bash Hasbro, and it looks like he's almost out of beer. Let's see here.
That one counts.
What's the score there?
Well, it's 2-0 now. The Rangers scored a second goal, but then it just got waved off because it was offside, so they did a replay. And now, like 15 seconds later, they just scored. So now it's actually 2-0, which is awesome because I love their backup goalie, Jonathan Quick. So it's like I want him. I don't want to say the S word because I'm a goalie, and goalies are very superstitious, and you don't want to ruin it for him. But I want to see him do really well. I love their starting goalie, but I love him playing for the Rangers. So I want to see him win.
Fawcettino93, thank you for the super chat. What's up, LaserPants and Bobby? Star Wars is back, baby. Joking. It's goodbye with the reveals today. They showed some prequel Jedi, some Shakti, and the chick with the big, I forget her name. Anyway, yeah, the Black Series reveals were cool. Thanks for sending those to me because I hadn't seen anything today until you sent me those Black Series pictures.
Oh.
Art G, member for 3 months. Thanks for the tater chat, Art. Always sucks to hear about this stuff, Ryan. Legions Con. I know I'll see Bobby again and probably spend too much. I won't be at Legions Con, no. Sorry.
I'm psyched for Legions Con.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be good.
What I'm not excited about is how small my booth is. But it's fine. We'll just have to get really creative on how, because we have a lot of products, like a lot of product that we're bringing. And because, it was last minute and they gave us a booth because are they really reviewing this goal too? Shit, man. The booth they gave us because somebody like dropped out or something like that. So we have a very small booth, which I'm incredibly grateful that they offered it to us. I would have taken a shoebox for a booth, but I'm just like, I got to get really creative here to be able to showcase everything we have and sell it successfully.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Art. I'll be at Rhode Island Comic Con. Make the trip for that. We'll hang out, Art, and we'll share a slice of pizza like last time. Okay. Man, we have a lot of super chats here. Okay. I want to get into the G.I. Joe stuff, but I also don't want to keep people waiting with their super chats. So let me get to Thomas. Thank you for the tater chat, Thomas. He says, gonna watch replay. Just want to say, hey, got shipped notification for Series 5. Can't wait. Thank you, Bobby. LP, you rock. Thank you. Just hope we get a Marvel Legends Feral before it's over. Me too. Absolutely. I need Feral. Thank you, Thomas. World Made of Cardboard. Thanks again, John. Hasbro sold Tonka and Care Bears to a company called Basic Fun, which declared bankruptcy in July 2024. So who owns those now? Who owns Care Bears?
It would. I'm sure the contract has it. It would just revert back to Hasbro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unless when a company goes to bankruptcy, they can the assets
like auction it
bought.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to see. I put it this way: if I ever sold my company or the Action Force brand, I would make sure that I put some sort of clause in it that if the company got acquired by another company, that company wouldn't get Action Force. It would revert back to me. Or if a company got Action Force and they didn't put out product for 3 years, it would revert back to me. I would make it very hard for them to, like, I'd make sure that, because if you sell, you want to make sure they're doing something with and fostering what you created. So you want to make sure your legacy lives on.
Makes sense. Thank you, World Made of Cardboard. Dominic Lenzi, thanks for the super chat. He says, I'm 20 minutes behind. Speaking of QC, Mondo sent me an email for the 1/6 Rogue figure that the eyes may be misprinted. They said send a pic of any defects and Mondo will send replacements free of charge. That's the way it should be. That's awesome.
That's the way it should be.
Good on Mondo. That Rogue looked awesome. Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate that super chat. Another one from a world made of cardboard. Thank you. Look up the investment companies Vanguard and BlackRock. Yeah, they own both Hasbro and Mattel and a lot of other companies.
Mm-hmm.
This puts Hot Wheels, Transformers, and Barbie Monopoly in new light.
I mean, it's shady, man. Buy
Yeah.
stocks and stuff. It's all shady. Look at how many government people buy stocks. You know, it's just or sell stocks, and it's all shady, man.
It's all insider trading. Yep.
Yeah,
They
there's
get
so
away
many
with
cooks in the kitchen and puppeteers pulling strings.
Yep. Thank you, John. V. Conley says, just cuz. Thank you, V. Conley. Thomas goes nostalgic. We met him at Terrificon. What's up, man? He says, hopping in late and heard Fortnite Man Cake is a fave. I never got Man Cake. That's the one that was like his head was a stack of pancakes.
Oh, really?
He came with like a Civil War era cannon with wheels.
Oh.
I don't know. It was weird. Thank you, Thomas. Everyone check out his video from today. Thomas Goes Nostalgic. He made an awesome dio to recreate that famous Jim Lee cover for X-Men #1. And it looked amazing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Got one from Patrick Burt. Thank you, Patrick. He says, hey, Bobby, if things grow and you want to expand, would you ever go public? Are you still looking for investors?
It would, to take a company public, it's got to be big. Like, it's got to be. I'm not saying that Valaverse cannot, doesn't have that potential. I'm just saying, like, that's not even something that's on my radar right now. I just want my company to be successful. I want to be able to live very comfortably. I want my kids to be able to do whatever they want. I've said this to my wife like 100 times and some of my friends. It's just like, while I may be in the limelight kind of thing, and I put myself out there, I very much want to live like a hobbit. I want to become a recluse. I don't want to do shows anymore. I don't want to, maybe I'll do 3POA every now and then. I don't know, but I literally want to wake up in the morning and I want to be like Peter from Office Space. I just want to do nothing, or just like, I want to wake up. I want to maybe have a big piece of property, maybe a horse. I want to shoot some of my guns. I want to ride my horse. I want to have my toy collection. I definitely want to live like a hobbit. I don't want to be out there anymore. I don't want to leave my house. I want to just stay where I'm at. I have everything I need. I need to go to Target every now and then. Fine. But I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do anything. I want to do what I want to do. I got hobbies. I wouldn't mind drawing more. I wouldn't mind just sitting on my porch reading comic books. So it's like, I want to get to that point. I want to be successful. Not have any worries anymore. Certainly not worry about, the all this business, like entrepreneurs and people that run business. Like, yeah, I'm good at it. I know what I'm doing and I've been successful, but I don't want to do this. Like, I don't. I want to make really, I love making the toys. I love that end of it. But running a business it's just a lot. I wouldn't say it's stressful. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I want to be able to enjoy myself. Taking a company public, I mean, then you have a bunch of bosses. Like, you take it public, like when WWF, and I'm going to call it WWF, it'll never be WWE to me. In the Attitude Era, it was awesome. Vince could do whatever he wants. Everything was great. All of a sudden, they take the company public, and everyone says the worst era of WWF was like the PG era. So it's just, granted, I was out of it by then, but I hear like all these horror stories about it. It's just like, yeah, you take the company public, you got to answer to a bunch of people. You got to answer to a bunch of people because their money's in it now. It's like, that's why I don't like doing Kickstarters. It's like, I want to know it's just my money. I want to know I'm the only one on the hook. And when I put out product, I put out product. I don't have to sit on anybody's money.
Yeah.
So yeah, long-winded answer. It's not going public anytime soon. And investors, no. Because then it's like, I gotta make, I don't want anybody to have a piece of what I'm doing. I'm putting my blood, sweat, and tears into it. It should just be me.
All right, Bobby. It's time. Because we got Kent Heltzinger. Kent Heltzinger with an insane super chat. Holy crap. Kent. Thank you so much, sir. Bobby, you gotta... There we go. Thank you so much, Kent, for the $50 super chat. He says, great discussion tonight. I am really enjoying Bobby's insight and knowledge. Thanks for keeping us informed. Also, can't wait till my Series 5 ships. I will be like a kid on Christmas morning.
You know what I love, and we've seen a couple of these, and it's like, I'm not trying to shit on anybody, but we get some emails from some customers that are just like, hey, has my order shipped? I haven't gotten any notification yet. Like, what's going on with my order? And it's like, are you aware we're processing thousands of orders and you'll get a confirmation when your order goes out? It's like, guys, cut us some slack. I know you're excited, cut us some slack. Like, Four Horsemen, it's like, now granted, I always get my orders quicker, and they do deliver quicker, but they let people know, like, hey, look, we're putting new products out. It's going to take a few weeks to get stuff out. I don't want to take a couple I want to get stuff right out the door. Literally, the day we got Series 5 in, we started fulfilling orders. I want that stuff out of here as soon as it comes in. So I get a crew together to make sure that we get orders out as quickly as possible. But guys, like, really, is the email necessary, like, as we're fulfilling orders? Probably not.
All right.
You could. All right. Relax. There.
I get a little excited.
I know you're excited.
I get a little excited. Thank you, Kent Heltzinger, so much. And by the way, man, we have like 550 people watching. Actually, over 600 watching now with Twitter, with X. We got 52 people watching on X now. That's awesome. Thank you. And thank you, Kent Heltzinger. I really appreciate that, man. You're very nice. Figure Fanatic, thanks for the super chat. Have you guys noticed that the DC McFarlane section has been eliminated from many Walmarts, particularly the small and mid-sized stores?
Really?
I almost never go to Walmart, so I haven't noticed that.
Interesting.
But when I have gone, and it's been a while, I have seen McFarlane figures still on the shelves. Yeah, I haven't noticed. I did notice a lot of my Walmarts didn't have classified. They weren't stocking those. Maybe they are now, but like over the summer, even in DFW, we went to that Walmart. There wasn't even tags on the shelf.
Yeah, I went to Walmart the other day, and there was no tags for G.I. Joe or anything like that. And I'm like, wow, they lost a big retail partner with that. Now that because we have stuff to talk about classified, so that's going to come up in our discussion.
Figure Fanatic, thank you for that, and let's get into it. Let's get into the what's going on with classified right now, because originally this wave with Xandar and who else was in it? We'll call it the Xandar wave. Was pushed back from December 2024 to October 2025. Then they put up more pre-orders. Okay. But those pre-orders aren't going to fulfill till August 2025. 8 months. Actually, 10 months from now. But 8 months into the year. What do you know?
I don't know anything. I'm only speculating here. Now, there's they showed that slide at New York Comic Con about rejiggering production. Yeah, I can bring it up if you want. No, people saw it, but if you want, sure. Okay. Now I'm speculating here, purely speculation, that maybe the brand is down from their 2024 sales numbers to their 2025 forecasts.
That's a very specific speculation.
I'm just saying that maybe that happened, and maybe this shift in production is a way of cutting items, because say you were to go from, I don't know, let me just guess and just throw out like a scenario. What if you were at a lot of money in 2024, and then your forecast for 2025 was only a third of that, what you brought in for 2024.
Mm-hmm.
That might mean you'd probably have to cut some item count. So that could be what a production shift could be, is eliminating item count. Now, there could also be, speculation of feelings that the brand is softened and that the fans are not as excited about what's being put out. And that's why your sales are softening, and that kind of thing, just speculating. But I tend to think like, okay, well, looking at what works and stuff like that. Now at my Target, I rarely see G.I. Joe, but when I do, it's deluxe figures on clearance. So to go from not really seeing a lot of product to when they get product in, it's on clearance. Now, when you have
real quick, when Target regularly is putting these deluxe figures on clearance, and
Yep.
by the way, regular figures, when it comes time to buy Hasbro product, they're going to look at the G.I. Joe stuff and say, maybe we don't want as much.
100%.
Okay.
Because, you look at, I look at, now I've seen Mutton Junkyard, Tripwire, who are the other deluxe figures? Scrap Iron, Metalhead, Naugahyde. I've seen all 5 of those on clearance at a Northeast Target that does not get a lot of product. What that shows me is that you're maybe making characters that people want, but you're making them at too high of a price point. I'm going to take one figure for as an example. Just came out, Road Pig. I saw Road Pig because Mark had purchased one. He brought it in the office for me to see. And I looked at it and I said, whoa. Now, almost all of it, the item as a whole is new tooling except for the dog. So you got some reuse. But the whole figure, all new. All the accessories, all new. That's a lot of tooling. Now, this is going to be blasphemy to some people. I'm sure there's some people that are very big Road Pig fans. I loved Road Pig as a kid. But let's be real, guys. He's like a CD level character. He's not anyone's, maybe he's someone's favorite G.I. Joe, but come on, guys. Let's be real here. There are plenty of Joes that people love more than Road Pig. You took a figure that is a CD level character and you made him a $55 figure. He could have not been a fat guy, and you could have made him muscular. You could have put him on that roadblock body and no one would have batted an eye, like you did with Naugahyde. You could have made him a single $25 figure. All you needed was his armor, and you needed his crossbow and his wrist and his cinder block hammer. He didn't need a dog. He didn't need a pig mask. He didn't need a riot shield. He didn't need all this stuff. He didn't need 2 heads, and one of them is constipated and one of them is, I don't know, not like, you could have made his yelling head. Like
Chad calls him Wreck-It Ralph.
He looks like Wreck-It Ralph. Like his head, his open mouth head. He doesn't look like, he should look angry and mean and snarling, but you gave him 2 weird heads. But okay. It's like, that's a $55 figure. I remember when I was there on Marvel, how hard it was to get the VP of marketing to approve good items. We literally had to sell our ass off to get the VP of marketing to let us do the Infinity Gauntlet, the big finger Infinity Gauntlet. And this is the Infinity Gauntlet, what the movies are all about. I can't imagine going into these gate reviews. Gate reviews, like you pitch the item and you show it, and then the team kind of, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. No, let's not do it. Or hey, let's cut some things on it. Let's adjust the price. who the VP of marketing has to approve these items. I can't imagine what sort of Horcrux shit Lenny's pulling when he's trying to sell the VP of marketing on this fat dreadnought CD level character. And guys, guess what? I'm going to add a stomach tattoo to him, and he's going to be great. People are going to love him. Like, dude, really? You're going so heavy with the dreadnoughts. It's like there are so many other characters. Now, I just saw that they showed Charborough at some London Toy Fair or something. But I'm looking at like, where's your hit and run? Where's your Charborough? Like, where are your amazing characters that are way better than Road Pig? And then, again, I had Raptor as a kid. I loved Raptor. I thought he was a cool figure. He's a shit character. He's a $35 figure because you put this giant wing pack on him. It's like you have 3 SKUs. You have your $25 figures, your $35 figures, and your $55 figures. Why are your higher skewed priced items these CD level characters?
I think the character with the dog is 50 or 45. The 55 is like
when I was at Target, the deluxe figures were 55.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
That wasn't like the 4-wheeler?
Nope. It was the Mutton Junkyard. It was the Tripwire. I literally just saw the tag the other day.
Because I got him at Target with that sale they had a week or two ago for $35 out the door.
Okay.
I mean, but that was because of Target sale.
Oh.
You know.
But still, it's like you're putting these lower tiered characters in the higher price SKUs, and you're wondering, like, of course this stuff's on clearance. Of course. It's like
people don't have that much money right now.
Yeah, and it's like Road Pig. Like the only other use you're gonna get out of Road Pig is the Sonic Fighters version, and nobody gives a fuck about that figure. He's orange, like he's neon orange, and then he's got Hulk Hogan tan. It's like, who cares? And it's like you have Naugahyde. Now, yes, Naugahyde came with the Warthog. I bet you if you release Naugahyde as a $25 figure and he didn't have the Warthog, maybe some people would bitch about it. I don't think it really hurt the item. I think it'd be like, cool, $25. Because now you're like, oh man, I got to spend $45-$50 on this item. I don't really care about the monkey or the Warthog. I just want Naugahyde.
That's the only reason why I bought it. Was
and it's just like you're cramming all this crap into an item. It's like, dude, like focus on the characters and give people like, an easier price point. I look at sales of stuff and I'm like, listen, even my Action Force stuff. You know what sells the best? The $30 figures. It's like, keep doing the $30 figures. Maybe deluxe figures aren't really an answer, And if
you continue to let people choose and buying gear packs.
Exactly. Better be compelling. Yeah. But it's just like, dude, the pig mask, the dog, the riot shield, he had something else with him. He just needed a couple things, and that's it. And it's like, guys, you got to see it. And I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there be like, I love Road Pig. I love that he came with so much stuff. Cool, man. That's you. I'll tell you right now, when that item's on clearance, you're not going to be the one that helps make that item money. Like, they need 20,000 of you. They don't need 1,000 of you. So it's like, I just don't understand where they're going. So, my thing is like, your character selection's terrible. It's like, I'm like, man.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You're in charge of G.I. Joe Classified, right? Mm-hmm. The line is what it is right now. Who are the first 5 characters you do starting now?
With Classified being done already, like
you are
okay.
Let's say you're rehired.
Yeah, I would do Hit and Run. I would do
Bushido for me.
Yeah, that's you. I would do Hit and Run. I would do it's tough because like Desert Scorpion, he's like a CD level character. Well, he was really cool. Like Okay, but if I stuck to it, it's just like, all right, well, trying to think who from those first like 6 years I haven't done yet. I would probably do the they haven't done a Destro in a while. Well, they did, I guess they did Destro on the vintage card.
Ooh, that's a good one.
But I would do Destro. I mean, yeah, we know the hooded Cobra Commander problem, so it's not even an option. I would try to do Battle Armor Cobra Commander. He was still kind of cool. Wetsuit is a very good one to do. Yeah, I would do Battle Armor Cobra Commander. I would do the Gold Head Grenadiers Destro. I don't even know if I would do him with the Chariot, because I don't think people cared. I think people love that figure. Yeah, I'd have to I'm put on the spot here.
That's okay. That's fine. Just say Bushido and Night Creeper leader, and we can move on. Now,
they did Night Creeper. Well, they did Night Creeper. They didn't do Night Creeper leader. Yeah.
Look at this Nerdzoic. Yep. This is 10 days ago. These had previously been marked as sold out by Hasbro request. So Hasbro told their vendors to mark these as sold out. This wave, show it on the screen.
Okay.
The reason for that was that the ETA changed from January 2025 to October 2025. Pre-orders are now once again open for the October 2025 release.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Lifeline. I would do Lifeline. But again, these are all $25 figures. Like I wouldn't do. I don't think I'd do any deluxe figures.
No. My question about this Nerdzoic thing is that because of budget cuts? They're pushing it deep into next year?
Yeah, I think they need to like, if you're looking at it like this, they're trying to push stuff off the books for certain quarters and stuff like that. So there's like, no, just push that out a little bit more. And it's like, yeah, it's like you're seeing kind of production figures here, but you can have the factory can make production paint masters or production samples without going into the full production run. I actually have a box of a Secret Series sitting here right here, and they're production level figures, even though the production run hasn't started yet.
Well, if this was if this was in production for delivery in December, they'd be making it right now at the factory, right?
Oh yeah. But the fact that they're pushing it out, it's like it's almost a year. I mean, but they pushed they pushed the Dragonfly out, they pushed this out, they pushed that out. Like they're pushing out a ton of stuff. But again, they have to relook at their numbers and that sort of thing. So there's a lot going on.
Now,
a lot going on.
It's almost become a meme in the G.I. Joe classified community that whenever something like this happens, or there's a QC issue on a figure, like the meme is, line's ending. It's the end of the line. They're canceling it. Do you think that is likely? Is it on the table for 2025?
Yeah. No, I think they'll be fine. The thing is, though, like, if a line went from X number of dollars to only a third of that for the following year, I bet
just throwing those numbers out there.
Throwing those numbers out there. Yep. I bet you they're taking a big hard look at it. Like, okay, let's figure something out here. Because from what I understand, like Chris Cox loves G.I. Joe because it's actually one of the few brands making money. But I don't see it going anywhere right now. But if things don't improve for 2025, what I want to see is I should get a big piece of poster board, and I want to find all the reveals that they've done. The outhouse, all this stuff, whether they did name reveals or they showed digital renders or they showed this, and I want to put it in. And as soon as it goes up for pre-order, I'm going to cross it off, and I want to see, and I want to keep it for a year. I want to keep it by the end of 2025, and I want to see how many of those items actually got made, and see what they're cutting. Now, listen, when we might only be seeing a sample of their line plan. There could be a bunch of stuff that maybe they're like, this is on the line plan. They're axing that. They're cutting that. It's just like, I can tell you right now, I'd be shocked if that Fireman got made.
Oh,
you
don't
know,
say that. I want that fireman.
it's
I do. I want the fireman.
you know, the outhouse. You know,
I tell
I
you what,
were
if they cancel the fireman, if they're not going to make that, you better get on making fireman real quick.
to see what I could do.
Yeah.
But it's like we won't know for a year if this stuff got cut or not, you know, because
Right.
you know, and it's like, look, yeah, they're showing the Thunder Machine. It's like Lenny's pushing all this Dreadnought stuff. It's like, dude, the brand's called G.I. Joe. Why don't you focus on G.I. Joe, like and not like these Dreadnoughts? And it's like, dude, like there's so many Cobra characters left to do. Like, stop with the Dreadnoughts. Just stop, dude. Stop. But Lenny loves heavy metal and dragons and stomach tattoos and tramp stamps. So it's like he's gonna push the Dreadnoughts.
Does Lenny have a tramp stamp?
No, I'm just saying like that. He, you know,
you should have said yes, but anyway,
he probably does. I wouldn't be surprised.
Before you stop doing the Dreadnoughts, though, Lenny, just do Monkey Wrench, please, and then stop.
He was my favorite Dreadnought.
Same.
He was my favorite. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now check this out.
Yeah.
This was posted by Carson. This is from some guy, James Zahn, editor-in-chief at the Toy Book. Okay. Who kind of wrote, it was a bit of a puff piece on this whole layoff situation.
It's the corporate, you're towing the corporate line.
Yeah.
You know?
He says, breaking news exclusively at the Toy Book, blah, blah, blah. Hasbro has revealed organizational changes designed to empower employees to make quick decisions while cutting speed to market time and allowing the team to design to value price from the start. What does that mean?
That's some bullshit trying to spin it as a positive. Like, guys, like he's saying like employees to make quick decisions while cutting speed to market. Okay, that means that
and design to value.
Hey, we laid off a bunch of people, so that means you have to do extra work. That means you got to get that work done quicker. Like you got to be faster about it. You can't like, you know, that's what that means. Like it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Design to value. It's like, okay,
design to value. What that says to me is that it's going to be lower quality.
Well, design to value, but also like what I was just saying about a $55 deluxe figure that should have been a $25 figure. That's what I'm saying. Like that's there. I think they're high price stuff. They're just like, dude, this is, you know, now granted, it's like you get Marvel that's doing $175 Sentinel, you know, but I feel like that would sell. A $55 Road Pig, probably not. You know, a $35 Raptor, probably not. So
are we gonna, you know, start seeing G.I. Joes that are packed like a Marvel Legend with little to no accessories for $25?
Could be. I mean, they
see that sucks.
Could be.
You know, because that's kind of like been where Classified has shined. You're getting a lot more value for your dollar.
I will say this. I was told speculatively a certain number, sales number, and then I was told speculatively a operating profit. Operating profit is basically the white meat. Like you have, say, layman's terms, you have $10 in sales. After the cost of the item and all your expenses, you're left with $2. $2 is your operating profit. When I was speculatively told a number up here, and then what the operating profit was, I was shocked. Because for a brand with no royalty, it should be much closer. And there was a wide gap. That means that you're spending a lot on tooling and you're not getting as much in return as you should be. So even if the brand's making money, okay, you're making money, you're profitable. But I want to be really profitable. So, you know, when I hear those speculative numbers, I'm like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. So it's like, you know, I'd imagine like Marvel's a lot of reuse in Marvel. I'd imagine their operating profit is probably much closer. They also have royalties to deal with. So you want that operating profit to be closer to your sales. So Oh, we're at 661, Scott.
Yeah. So, yeah, we got 600 watching on YouTube, 60 on X or Twitter. So, yeah, thank you.
Nice.
Hit that like button. Okay, well, I mean, there it is.
I mean, I read this. I was like, this, like, if no one can see what a terrible corporate like line that is, like,
yeah,
I wish I could live in that fantasy world where you think like, hey, what a positive message. This is great. Yeah, that's totally understandable. It's like, oh
right.
man,
garbage. All right, let's get to some super chats, man, because we still got a few piled up here. Hal Jordan says the Hasbros always remind me of that dude under the blanket crying about leaving Britney Spears alone. Northern Nomad, if Hasbro loses the Marvel license, I'm not starting over collecting with another toy maker. Now,
thank you, chat, for correcting me. It's Blowtorch, not Charborough. Charborough had the silver armor with the big bug eyes. Yes, he was the other flamethrower guy.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
There's always a chance that, another company would pick up the Marvel license and continue on the Legends brand, like when it went from Toy Biz to Marvel or Toy Biz to Hasbro. I'm not saying I'm counting on that, but whatever. We've had 22 years of Marvel Legends. They had a pretty good run if it does actually end. Brian Dillingham, thank you for the tater chat. I like the creativity behind Renegades.
It was interesting. I mean, I worked on the stuff. I wasn't really a big fan of it, but it was interesting seeing them take it in that direction. It's just unfortunate it didn't work.
Yeah. Figure Workshop or Figure Wreckage wants to know why he keeps getting unsubscribed. I don't know. YouTube does that. Just always check to make sure you're still subscribed.
Ryan, stop unsubbing people.
I can't do that.
Maybe it's Tony. Tony's secretly going in there and unsubbing people.
You can't do that. You have to have access to their account.
Kidding.
Yeah, no. It is YouTube. Blake wants to know, are you still there? Or are you making a drink? Blake wants to know if you got any resumes from former Hasbro employees.
Not yet. However, the interesting thing I always see when like people get layoffs happen, which layoffs happened earlier this year, they happened last year. The views by former Hasbro employees that got let go, you could see on LinkedIn, you could see who's viewed your profile. Maybe it's only on because I pay for like the premium one, but it always spikes up. So I the last 2 days I've been going in and I see, oh, so-and-so looked at your profile. So-and-so looked at your profile. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yep. Makes sense. And it's like, listen, I had a bunch of people that I knew and would say hi to in the hallway, but never really was friends with them or knew them or talked with them or worked with them. People come out of the woodwork when they get laid off. Like, hey, I love what you're doing with your company. Hey, you want to get together and chat about stuff or maybe working together. And I'm like, okay, we never talked before, but okay, what do you got to offer? It's always an interesting, thing that happens. Yeah, of course we're blaming you, Tony.
Yeah, it's all Tony's fault. Yeah, it's all Tony's fault. Yep. All right, Figure Fight Club. Thank you for the super chat. He says, Bobby, can you bring those Action Force issues 1 through 5 to LegionsCon? I'll be there, so I'll try to make you go home happy. What does that mean?
Wow.
It's gonna make you.
Yeah, I know. I gotta dig him out. I know he sends me messages at the wrong time, reminders, and then I'm like, there's really I'll try desperately to remember them. There's not a great time, but I got a lot going on, but I'll try my hardest to make sure I bring them.
You hear that, Jordan? You make sure that they make it to LegionsCon. HGC, thanks for the tater chat. He says, for LegionsCon, creative setup, stack tables atop each other. If Bobby needs another, just holler, Ryan, get the tables. I won't be there. Is there another Ryan? I won't be there.
No, yeah, he should have said Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
That's a Dudley Boys reference from WWF. They were a tag team, and Bubba Ray would push Devon in the chest and say, Devon, get the tables. And they'd set up tables, and then they would 3D was their finishing move. They 3D guys through the table. It was great.
So about the Hasbro employees reaching out to you after they get laid off, Omar says, tell them you believe them. but your Tommy gun don't.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
I heard you've been smooching with my brother. Media Clash, thanks for becoming a channel. Oh, no, you've been a channel member for 13 months. No message, but thank you very much, Media Clash. And then we got Mython the Python. He says, LaserPants, love you, Twinsy. Thank you again for hanging out with me last night. Yeah, that was fun on your show. Salute to Bobby. Love the Pink Steel Brigade. Means a lot to me. Rock on. Means a lot to him because his mother passed away from breast cancer. So,
sorry, man.
It means a lot to him. Yeah, thank you, Mython. Let's see here. Impossible Pie with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Ryan, you need some glow sticks. That's right. 3 POA for life. All right. Sorry. Jeremy Kimberlin says, wouldn't the Haslab Rattler being the best-selling Joe Haslab of the 3 classified projects be a good sign of brand health?
No. Come on. Come on. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, but come on. You think one item selling well does not prove anything for the growth of the brand.
What was the math on that? Didn't they make like $4 million on that?
Oh, they made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so the best-selling G.I. Joe Haslab of the 3 project. Oh, it's still just a sample size of 3. It's 3. It's just 3. It's not 10. It's not 20. It's 3. It's like
I would imagine they make a lot more money shipping figures to Target than they do on a Haslab.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe, but it's just like it's one item. You think just because you had one successful Haslab like that, okay, for a brand to be successful, you want to be around, the 20 million and up mark. At the Hasbro level. I know when I worked at Jazzwares, they would do $5 million brands or $10 million brands. Hasbro likes to do 20 million and up. Do you think a $4 million item is enough to say that the brand's successful? I'm not, I don't want to pick on you, Jeremy, but it's just like, and I'm sure you love the brand, and sure you love the Rattler, but it's one item.
Jeremy's just asking. I don't.
No, I know, but it's just one item, and it's such a small sample size, and the Haslab stuff, it got people excited because there was still a lot of newness. Like G.I. Joe fans were so starved for stuff, so you're getting this stuff for the first time. Like it's awesome. So it's like, the Rattler was exciting. It was exciting to people to see something this big and being done, and it's such an iconic vehicle. Same with the Hiss tank. So it's like, yeah, of course it's gonna be successful. You do a great item. It's not, if you're doing, I'm trying to think what a G.I. Joe equivalent of the Engine of Vengeance would be. I'm trying to think of a shit vehicle. Maybe one from like the mid 90s. Like say you Haslabbed the
Cobra Bug.
I love it. You can't say the bug. I love the bug. But yeah, say you just took a vehicle, it's like, yeah, and it failed or it didn't do well. It's just like, well, yeah. But when you take something super iconic, and that's the good thing about G.I. Joe is it has very iconic stuff. Very, very, very iconic stuff. So you can really tap into that, but it's definitely not enough to say that a brand is doing really well and is healthy. It's just not enough when you have, 30 items throughout the year or more. If I have one Action Force item, say I put out 15 items in a year and 2 of them are really profitable, but the rest are maybe squeaking by or not squeaking by, but those 2 items that are profitable made like a shit ton of money. It doesn't mean the brand's, successful. So it doesn't, they don't correlate. One item doesn't correlate to the entire brand doing well. And
it's also one item that's really expensive.
Yeah.
So that's going to be, it's going to be a lot more profit in there.
I said Hiss tanks. Hiss isn't a tank. It's a high speed sentry. Sorry.
Chad's here. You better watch out.
It's not a tank. Sorry, Chad. Chad is the master. Everyone listen to Chad.
Chad is the leader of the community, the toy community. He is, Chad's up here. with this his tank collection. I mean, Hot Banana Water, thanks for the tater chat. Hasbro didn't know what to do with Power Rangers. After MMPR, it was scattershot for releases. Some teams weren't even touched, let alone completed. True. Of all that, the one that really gets me is if like I wanted a team and they released like half the team or the whole team -1. Oh my God. And then the line ended. I'd have lost my mind. If they did all the Power Rangers but no Green Ranger, I'm kicking down the door at 10:27. Okay? That's what I'm doing. I'm looking for BMAC. Pokey 87. Bobby, do you think you'll ever add animals to Action Force?
I don't know, man. It's certainly not high on my priorities list. Because if I feel a certain way, and I said like, oh, I wanted to do a pit bull because I own pit bulls. But like, yeah, they did a pit bull at Road Pig, and I'm kind of hating on like Road Pig, but it's like he never came with a pit bull like previously. I can make new characters and like, oh, this guy's a pit bull. But I don't know, seeing like, you know, and having my feelings about these highly articulated animals. Like, I'll tell you right now, I know some people are like, dude, it's so cool. But the polar bear, let me tell you something. If I were a costing engineer or a marketer on the team, I would look at that item hard as hell and be like, how much tooling is that polar bear? And how many times are you going to use that polar bear? You think just because you're putting it in your 75th Snake Eyes that it's going to sell enough to compensate for that polar bear? Guys, I'm a betting man, and I'm not feeling confident about that polar bear.
Hasbro, don't listen to Bobby. You make that polar bear.
I know you want the polar bear, but it's just like, dude, that thing's going to be big and heavy and a lot of parts, and it's going to be really expensive. So the animals, it's like, I'd rather focus on the characters, man. I think the characters are really, really important, especially it's like, let me keep building Action Force more. Let me introduce more. And then when we're into our maybe 10th year, maybe start adding animals in. We'll see.
The Action Force ostrich.
I mean, I did hear Tony say that I need to include a wombat with the second version of Desert Rat. So that might be the first animal.
A kangaroo. All right. Thank you, Pokey87. Billy Go Boom with the tater chat. Hi, Billy. Brian Rowland with the tater chat. He says Destro's Despoiler is an army builder vehicle in the Energon universe for Iron Grenadiers. It would sell better like that. Interesting. Okay. I'm hearing good things about the Energon universe, the new comics and stuff. I have, what did I get? I got like Cobra Commander or something. I don't know what I got. I got something. Killustrated Figs, thanks for the super chat. It seems like if Hasbro would put in more effort on the product and less on extreme profit, it would seem like fans would respect them more, buy more. Yeah.
Yeah. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I mean, you're Chris Cox. You really don't give a shit if it like what's in the item. I mean, again, it's like, you know, I tell stories all the time about, you know, my time on Marvel and things that were cut and what the VP, like he just, I remember he said to me, he said, I don't care who's buying it. I just care that it's bought.
Right.
That's what, when I told him, I remember saying something like, yeah, but if we did this, the fans would really love it. Or I think I said something like, or the fans are going to get mad if we do that. He said, I don't really care who's buying it. I just care that it's being bought. And I was like, whoa, okay. So they don't care about you. It's just numbers to them. When you get to the high level, it's just numbers. They don't care about product. It's just numbers.
And you know, they're a slave to their shareholders, you know, that's the way
so it's the low level people that have to care about the product. You know, people like me or, you know, the Lennys or the Dwights, like they do. But it's like if Lenny has an agenda and he cares about heavy metal and dragons and ridiculousness, then like, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that don't try to put your personality of that stuff into the brand you're working on. Like,
I got it. Get the Reign of Fire license and bring that into the Action Force world and make an Action Force dragon.
Dude, like, I would love it, but that's a dragon. I don't think anybody wants a dragon. A dragon. I want a dragon.
I
don't know. I could be wrong, but
I want a polar bear on a dragon.
People are gonna be mad at me about that polar bear comment.
Yeah, I am. Make the polar bear, Hasbro. Rocky Austin says, if Hasbro loses Marvel license, will Bobby let Dwight work for Valaverse?
I can tell you right now, I can't see Dwight traveling to Boston. So unless they let people work remotely, Dwight's gonna need a job.
Yeah, I mean, if they stayed in Rhode Island, and he stayed with Hasbro, and they lose the license, he'd probably go to G.I. Joe or something.
I don't know, man. Dwight's been there a long time. Probably has an inflated salary. I mean, redundancies of managers and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. It's Chad with the Tater Chat. He says, "Oh hey,
oh hey,
hey Chad,
hey buddy,
You are a smelly pirate hooker."
Peep Show Menagerie. Thanks for the super chat. Does anyone actually miss Haslab campaigns for the money they charge? It's like missing going to a proctologist. I like the products. I don't like the prices. I'll tell you that right now.
If I were Hasbro, I would probably take it easy for a year or two on Haslabs because look, you're asking people to spend a lot of money. If you're spending $300 on a Rattler, then you're not spending $300 on 7 or 8 other items in your line plan. So you have to make these corporate decisions. Like, do I want to move more product or what? Like, is that money better suited to move the items that are at Target and not at Walmart, but do I want Target to get that $300 that person's going to spend, but they can say, oh, I moved 8 items today. Or do you want to say I moved 1 item and I got this amount of money, but I don't have a Target to, I'm taking those sales away from Target. So people don't have that $300 to spend on something else that's a Target. You have to think about it that way, and I'm sure Hasbro's thinking about it that way.
You know what else you need to think about? We got 700 people watching.
Woo.
Yeah, 640 on YouTube and 65 on X. Thank you guys.
Man, there are some YouTube channels out there that are a billion times bigger than us that can't even get nowhere near this many people watching live.
Thank you, Peep Show Menagerie.
But I'm the dick.
Master Son 42, thank you, man. He says, Bobby, I ordered the breast cancer steel brigade on day 1. Why did everybody get theirs before me? Oh wait, I paid $8 to ship them. Never mind.
I mean, we get the orders in. It's like we're processing them, as they come in. They print it out. Maybe as we printed, some got, but also it's like the region and stuff. You never know. I don't know.
We could tell him the truth. I told you to put his order at the bottom of the.
But are you saying, Master Son, did you not get it yet? Because if you didn't get it yet, shoot us an email, orders@valaverse.com with your order number, and we'll look into it. We'll track it, because if you ordered on day 1, you haven't gotten it yet, that's a totally different story.
Yeah. He doesn't need it. Just send it to me. The Collector, thanks for the Tater Chat. When is your first playset or dio coming out?
Well, I mean, I was gonna do an outhouse, but they beat me to it. So I was like, what am I gonna do now? I was like, man, the Action Force latrine would be really awesome, but I guess I can't do that now.
Damn.
Oh, well, I know.
Thanks, The Collector.
I'm gonna do like a couple pieces of wall and make like the Action Force glory hole.
Junkion, thanks for the Tater Chat. But Bobby,
I did. I corrected myself. It's not a tank. It's not
this
a
isn't
tank.
a tank.
Not a tank.
John Papa Sergio's here. What's up, man? He says, how could they make a hooded Baron Zemo but not Cobra Commander?
Because someone in a meeting didn't say something about hooded Baron Zemo. Like, someone in a meeting specifically said about hooded Cobra Commander looking like something else, which is ridiculous. But that stigma's there. I mean, it's just the way it is. I would think that was years ago, though. It's like, guys, like, I don't know. It's ridiculous.
At this point, it's probably because the collecting community has made such a big deal about it, and so it's on everyone's radar.
Yeah.
And so if they did do it, then a lot of people would be like, oh my God, they did it. I'm so offended.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think you could probably get that head somewhere. I know there's probably a company that doesn't have original designs and likes to steal other people's shit. That's probably doing a hooded Cobra Commander head that, you know, you can wait 2 years to finally get. But I don't know. Maybe there's something like that out there. I don't know. I don't really see that far.
Shots fired.
It would just be one shot that would do the job.
Oh. There. Elizabeth Laurie, thank you for the tater chat. Bobby, what do I need to do to get a female Action Force figure in short sleeves?
Just be patient. I'm probably working on any ideas you guys ever suggest. I'm like, man, I guess I've already been working on that. Or if they only knew. Don't worry. If you have an idea, I probably beat everyone to it. So just be patient.
So General Tater's being worked on.
Yeah.
Okay. HGC, thanks for the super chat. Yes, Reign of Fire Dragon. Do it, Bobby Vala. That's what I'm saying. Do it. Masterson 42, thanks for the super chat. Wait, when did Bobby get hair? Have you missed the last 2 months of shows? I think he did. He's been skipping the shows. Masterson, he's not a real fan.
Yeah. I picked it up the other day. You know, just thought it'd be all right. You know,
you are not nearly as bald as you led everyone to believe.
Yeah, but you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just I like the convenience of having no hair. Now I have to do my hair in the morning. I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah.
Omar has an idea.
What I find funny is with Matt filming for me, we have this backlog of videos. So he'll post videos like the video that's coming out next week. We filmed 2 months ago, and I have no hair in that video. So it's now it's you see videos where I have hair, and then you're going back and videos of me no hair. It's really weird. It's a weird timeline. You know, it's like the multiverse of Bobby.
The multiverse of Bobby. Some would call it a Valaverse. Zakanen with the super chat. It's for $6.66. He says, rumbles into the super chat. Thank you, Zakanen. I had him on the show last Wednesday with Rocco. Completely off the rails.
Really?
You might actually really like that show.
Okay.
Rocco's going to come to Legion's Con. He wants to get a picture with you.
No pictures.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
No pictures.
And Snell's World with the super chat. Thank you, sir. Have you ever thought about using former Navy SEALs like Sean Ryan, Marcus Luttrell, or former Rangers like Tim Kennedy? Are you serious right now?
I don't want to pick on him.
Okay.
But you must be new here. Or, go check out items we did in Series 2.
Series 2. Yeah.
I don't know if they're trolling me or not. I don't know.
Listen, Tim Kennedy was in Series 2 as Duster.
We did it Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yes, we did it Tim Kennedy.
And the other guys that he listed, not in the line.
I don't have any desire. I mean, the thing is, the experience with Tim, while I loved the idea of having Tim in the line, and I thought it was just cool, and going out to Texas and filming with him, and I thought the figure was great. I don't think those guys, their fan base doesn't care. Those guys, those UFC gun guys, they don't care about toys. They don't. So it's getting one of those guys in the line is not going to build more awareness to it. Tim has millions of followers, and it didn't bring any, it didn't bring his people over, because they're a guy who buys guns and watches UFC think he cares about an action figure. He doesn't collect toys. So
when he posted his Duster figure, the promo on Instagram,
yeah,
I would go in and read the comments, and most of them were, "Oh, cool, you're an action figure."
Yeah, it's not.
None of them said I'm buying it right now.
Yep.
It was we like you, Tim Kennedy, but it wasn't we're gonna buy this toy.
Yeah.
Cause,
so there's a disconnect, and I know there's such a small percentage of us. I'm a big military guy and UFC guy and gun guy, but I'm also
it's
a toy
why
collector.
the UFC figures didn't sell.
Yeah, perfect example. So so no, I wouldn't put any of those guys in there. It's just I'd rather focus on creating my own characters and something new and fresh.
Yep. All right. Carlos Rosato with the Tater Chat. Thank you. Bobby, have you picked on a name for the Locust pilot?
Someone just asked me at the office today. One of the guys I got working here, helping with fulfillment. He asked me the same thing. I have not thought of that yet. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
All right. And last one, Salty Lead Farmer. Thank you for the super chat. Bobby's still waiting for the party Pandora for my vamp. And then he has some parentheses and periods there, which resemble
that's
something.
Creative. I like that.
All right. Thank you, Salty Lead Farmer. Appreciate you. Thank you, everyone. Oh, we got another one in here. Media Clash. Thank you for the super chat. Bobby, you need to get Robbie on those Action Force mecha designs. Just saying, unless you already have.
Robbie? We need a little more clarification.
Yeah, who's Robbie? You don't have to send a super chat, but just tell me. I'm watching the chat right now. Media Clash. Let's see here. All right, guys, hit the like button. Check and make sure you're subscribed. Someone just told us during the show that they've been getting unsubscribed, so just double check there. MasterSon42 says, "Is there an after show?" Yes, there is, and it's scheduled. The link is up. There will be an after show tonight. Robbie Musso did the Wasp Raider comic.
Oh yeah, yeah. Robbie has done a lot of Transformers work and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not there yet with the mechs. Still trying to figure out the direction to go in. So we'll see.
All right, and Justin Booth, thank you. I purchased both variants of Senshi. With that said, are there any plans to do more Ninja Samurai Valaverse figures in the near future?
I don't know. I like this one, but I don't know if there is a reason to do more or a whole segment of them. Yeah, I don't know. Not there yet.
All right. And
I got what I'm working on right now is pretty epic as far as factions and type of characters go.
Cool. MasterSon42, thank you so much for 5 3POA podcast memberships. Who got those? We got Grizzlehorn, Just a Cringer, The Rage Cage, and Stitch Grr. And Gloating. Thank you, MasterSon42, for 5 3POA podcast memberships. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. That's it, guys. We're out. Bobby, do you want to sign us out, Bobby?
I get in trouble when I do that. I don't want to do that. I already hurt their feelings tonight. I don't need any more softness. I don't need any soft hate out there anymore.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I don't want to do this.
Okay. How about
I'll just say that his tank isn't a tank.